we are waiting. We're gonna go with Toodming. Who does Toodming play, guys? Is Toodming playing our man? Yeah, it's Toodming Trigger. Alright, so I think I'm gonna disable our prediction. And I'm gonna give you guys Toodming versus Trigger. So, now you guys can all watch Serral later. Delete and return points. Toodming versus a Trigger. Best of 2. Toodming. Trigger. Draw. Give you guys 10 minutes. I hope that won't ruin the prediction. So we have literally gone through all 3 matchups, guys. We were supposed to start with Reynor Firefly. That got changed into Serral versus Silky. But we're actually kicking things off with Toodming versus Trigger. A C-class player against a D-class player. You going gray? Who's coming to Homestar Cup, by the way, guys? Since a lot of you guys are right now making plans, and I already see people communicating on where to stay, who's driving who has confirmed that trip to the Homestar Cup. Ducky is gonna be there again. Gonna play some poker with us, mate. Why is Trigger not standing in the middle of the image? He wanted to show the beautiful side of his face. It's basically like when Roddy was young. When I was young, I never stood in this in a picture. It was always like this. Because I believe that made me more handsome. And I hope that the ladies would love me. It worked, by the way, guys. It worked. That left side of the face did wonders for me. When they then actually saw me in real life, they're like, whew. The right side is not quite as pretty as the left one. But they're like, oh well. You have a good heart. Got the hotel and flights. Where are you staying this time around, Lethal? At Homestar Cup? Yeah. At this point, Nizahi, I am not surprised by anything. They're like, alright, Roddy. None of the guys can make it. Do you want to step in and play against Sky? He hasn't played StarCraft since 2012. I'm like, oh, okay. Roddy loses, obviously. It's like, fuck. It happened. A birthday and a sub from Bully in the same week. Next you're gonna tell me it's Christmas tomorrow. It is not, but we do have an exciting month ahead of us. What a weird thing to say, Sentient. Why are we joking about heroing? Can we not? Oh man, your chat history is questionable. I also have a timeout. But it's by a bot. This is the audience for it? No. I can guarantee you, mate, that not on any day in the 13 years of streaming, I have enjoyed people talking about heroin in my channel. This is not the audience, and it will never be. Alright, guys, it is finally time to get on with our 4th match in the WTL Codas regular season. Let's go ahead and enjoy this one.
Let's get it on.
In the bottom right side, we are looking at the main base of the man who got a surprising map win last week over Beyond, I believe it was, right? Or was that Silky? Who did Toodming take a map off? Anyway, they all took a map because SSLT actually took out the Shopify Rebellion last week. So it's a big win. I told my boys to take this one serious because these guys seem to be quite good. The Hungry Camels, as Wardy likes to call them. Toodming, our Chinese Zerg in the bottom right side. And obviously in the top left side, the man who went 3-0 in ESL Masters America into the playoffs. And I'm sure that he is ready to get back on a little win streak. Yeah, last week suffered a loss versus Dark. Well, earlier this week actually. But there is no shame in that. Toodming is good, but he's no Dark. So I am full of confidence that Trigger will set things straight. And I believe in a dub here. I think it's going to be a 2-0. Not a walk in the park, but I do think Trigger can win 2-0. Trigger might actually visit me, guys. He might actually visit Zuidland. I hope... well, since he says he grew up on a farm, he should feel right at home in Zuidland. But there is a good chance that to bridge the gap between 2 European tournaments, he will actually stay at my place for like 10 days. He asked me if that would be okay, and I said, sure, mate. I'll make sure that you have everything that your little heart desires. Give him his own room, his own setup. He can stream from here as well while I'm streaming. It doesn't really matter. So I think it'd be very cool to have him over for a bit. I think he'll be happy. And I'll do my best to make him happy. A little tire, big dreams. One gate fast expand into a Stargate for our man from Basilisk. That does not surprise us. The follow-ups are going to be interesting. Also curious to see how he's going to move his adepts. Max Specs really is, I think, the guy to learn from at the moment when it comes to adept movement. Skill is very good at it too. It's hard because the adept vision of the shades is really not that big. So you think there are sort of things you cannot do. And this is already a lovely little start, guys. Trigger shades into the main base. He knows link speed ain't done yet. Link numbers are going to be low. And he immediately picks up one of the creep tumors. Gets a drone as well.
First blood.
Gets a second one. What? Okay, because he cancelled the shade. That does mean that we lose our adept. I think it would probably be slightly better to keep the adept alive rather than being greedy and get the second drone. But at least he got the second drone. Will the Serral play today? Yes, he will. Serral will play either next or in 2 matches. There seems to be a bit of chaos on the side of our Chinese friends. They're struggling getting their players ready. We, the professionals that we are ready. And we're flexible. We're not going to be mean to them. If they want to switch the order around, that's fine by us. Maybe Trigger can teach you something for Protoss. He could teach me a lot of things, mate. But at the end of the day, the one thing that I don't lack is knowledge. What I do lack is speed, execution, comfort at a high level. And maybe time as well. Because people underestimate how much time I spend on casting this video game every single year. If all of that time was put into playing, I'd be a whole lot better than what I actually am. But this is my job, and I'm happy with my job. I have no ambition on becoming the best StarCraft 2 player in the world. Not anymore. Pulsar beam activated as a couple of links get picked off. So far, it's a beautiful start for a young Canadian. I think everything is going according to plan. Follow-up is Twilight Council and a Forge. We're expecting Blink. We're expecting +1. Sometimes Trigger does surprise us and he goes charge first, but I don't think this is the game, and this is also not a game I think where he would ever go Resonant Enclave Adept. But in before he proves me wrong, and he will still show us the latest adepts. Have you ever beaten Reynor or Serral before in a match? Yes. Because I've been playing this game for a long time, and there was a time that they are nowhere near as good as they currently are. So, of course there was a time where I beat them. Have I ever defeated them when they were as good as they currently are? No, the answer is no. I got very, very close to defeating Reynor on Triton. I don't know if Reynor is listening. And he will probably say that these are lies, but some of you guys may remember the map Triton. And I was already good friends with Reynor, and Reynor was already a god. And I said, hey Reynor, I've got a sick build. I would like to play one game against you. And I got so close to winning. No coping, no cap. I was very close. Yona says he can't remember losing to me. I also got very close to defeating you, Yona, on Paladino Terminal. Yona link flooded me once upon a time, guys. And I was defending so well that I was like, alright, this cannot be it. There is another attack coming. I need to be greedy, I need to transition. But he was just doubling down on the all-in. Yona had to all-in the Roddy. Alright, Revelation has gone down. Couple of creep tumors getting pushed back. We have +1 melee on the way for Toodming, as he is firing up 24 Zerglings as well. We already have a few High Templars morphing into Archons for Trigger. That's pretty quick. We need to be careful here. There is a stasis. The stasis is decent. Off creep, the Stalkers should be safe. It's really cool to see how the Protoss have fine-tuned this build. That they have the confidence right now to already move out way before Blink is done. As long as they don't donate their oracles and do something silly with it. That's an laser amount of overlords for Toodming, by the way, guys. 7 freaking overlords on the way at once. 7 OVs and 11 roaches. As we are waiting for +1 to finish up. Toodming is setting up a bit of a counter attack. We can see that on the minimap. Lings running into the third base. Ooh, that could get dicey. That's a lot of surface area. Gateways get unpowered. Shield battery gets unpowered. Another pylon will fall. This is actually a great attack by Toodming, guys. I gotta say, Trigger is doing a good job with the probes there. Stacking all of them up in that little nug. I think he saves the Nexus as well. It's gonna be close, but I think we saved this Nexus. It's not gonna be that close. It's somewhat close, but we saved the Nexus. It's a beautiful circle of death around that Nexus. I always love it when that happens. It's so satisfying. An entire circle of blood. But that was still a decent counterattack by Toodming, guys. Even if he lost a lot of links, he got a couple pylons. He forced Trigger to turn around. And that allows him to get all these extra units out and up and running. Upgrades as well. So really not bad by Toodming. As we have two adapts shading in, well, not really shading, walking into the triangle base. I too remember the win of Ben over Serral. Who doesn't? I'm pretty sure that as soon as Esther was born, Ben's son, the first thing he showed him was the replay against Serral. Esther doesn't know any better. If he thinks back of his childhood in 20 years from now, he will think back of his dad beating Serral. 16 Veilings morphing on the side of Toodming, plus 2 melee on the way as well. I'm not quite sure where those Banes were morphing. Nice roach flank, man. Toodming is actually displaying some very feisty macro, guys. Do not sleep on the Chinese players. They're honestly all getting pretty damn good. They've been good for a while. I don't know how this attack is going to go out. We have a battery overcharge, but that overcharge already ran out. The roaches, they should get right on top of these Archons. They should go for the one-shots. Baning's blowing up Archons as well, and Immortal falls. Toodming is actually going to get a lot of damage done here. I don't think the game ends, but he gets the Nexus. He gets 15 probes. I mean, is he committed? Hell yeah. Is that a problem? Well, if you deal this amount of damage, I don't think it is a problem. Trigger is definitely not down and out. He seemed a little bit sad there for a split second, kind of tilting his head backwards. But he still has 61 army supply. He still has a third base, as he took the base in the top side. This is still a game. And +2 is going to finish up soon, but losing the Immortal, losing all the Archons, definitely a problem. Toodming still active with just so many links way off creep. Those Zealots, by the way, they are very handy as they buy some time for the Stalkers. But the Stalkers have already used Blink. A lot of the Stalkers are going to get surrounded. We do have a Warp Prism in the mix, but this is some great army movement by Toodming. You gotta give credit where credit is due, and Trigger is now in all sorts of trouble. It was bad after he lost the Nexus, but I didn't think it was like ultra over, since we were playing as a Lair Tech Zerg with only 62 drones. But the amount of Stalkers that our man Trigger just lost there, guys, that is a little bit problematic. Toodming is doubling down. This man is not looking to saturate another base. He is not looking to fire up a hive. There's only one thing that he is looking to do, and that is get Trigger out of this game. Lings, Roaches, Ravages, and Banelings are going to try to crush into the third base of Trigger. That was once upon a time the fourth. There is a Stasis. That Stasis is going to buy some time. A couple of Archons finish up on a very good moment, I'd say. Can we overcharge? Yes, we can. Look at that overcharge, guys. Look at the overcharge. Archon lives. Archon falls. Banelings crash into the probes as well. Kind of feel like if there was ever an overcharge that was going to save us, it was that one. But I'm afraid now that Toodming just has a little bit too much. Trigger will tap out. Even though Toodming was going to disengage and was working with only 62 drones. Yeah, with only 2 bases up and running. Trigger probably did not feel that he could ever turn that one around. GG. That is a surprising start to our best of 7. Gotta give kudos to Toodming. He's been around for a while, but he's still mighty fine. Even in the year 2023. Toodming is no dark, you said. I still don't think he's dark, but good performance. What Trigger needs to realize is that Toodming is very aggro. These guys are gonna make a lot of units of a weak economy. And if they do that, you don't need to be as aggressive as you are against the Zergs that go up to 80 drones or even 85, 90 drones. You can play the game out a bit differently. Because even after losing the third Nexus, I don't think it was that bad for our boy. It only became bad after he lost all the Stalkers in the center of the map. That means that a Trigger victory will always be the wrong prediction, but we could still get a draw. And I'm not talking about the same draws we had in the ESL Masters as we look on altitude. I'm talking about a draw in the best of 2. That was quite a game between Nina and Akko. And also quite the reaction from cats. Hello, Creed, by the way. Thank you to our man EU_____________BR. There's a few more underscores in there. I appreciate it, mate. Thank you for the sub. I saw the clip from Reddit. Yeah, me too. I didn't watch it live, but then I saw a screenshot on Twitter, and I was like, what? So then obviously I took a look at the VOD. I was like, okay. That's quite something. I'll be honest with you guys, I'm very happy I did not have to cast that. Yo, Boss1506, thank you for the 8 months. 8 is my favorite number, but 88 would look very good too. So. Or 888. How many years is that? 50 years? Maybe one day we'll have a 50-year subby. It's a bit more 60, that's gonna be tough. Don't know if I'm still alive. We've got a couple of people in the chat already that will be playing in the Big Brain Bouts tonight, guys. I know there is a crazy amount of StarCraft. We've got the WTL, we've got ESL Masters, but tonight there will also be another Big Brain Bouts. $500 on the line. 75 bucks for the first best of 5, 100 for the second, 125 for the third, and 200 for the last one. Bly versus Milky Cow was perhaps one of the top matches. It's funny that you say that. I had a dream this morning about Bly. I had a lot of weird dreams, but the last thing I remembered was that I was at a DreamHack Yon shopping sort of event, and I was walking down, and then there were a couple of guys that were discussing something, and then I walked past it, and then I met Bly, and I was like, hey Bly, how's it going? And I just had a very deep, serious conversation with Bly at this gaming event, and then I woke up, and I was like, why am I dreaming about Bly? That was like the very last thing that I remembered before I woke up. Bly just giving me his life story, and I was enjoying it. Who was he playing 3v3 with, Foxer? Not quite sure, but he was on NA. With Korean friends? Okay. I have to admit that the only team games I ever did were often with females. I enjoyed playing with ladies, but I did not enjoy playing team games with men. StarCraft for me has just always been a 1v1 game. It's not I mean, I'm not even trying to be cool or anything. It's just that it was often, you know, a girlfriend or a female friend that's like, would you like to play some team games? I never really had any of my male friends asking me. We just, I don't know. We always just played 1v1. No, team games with Todd. Are you kidding? That is a nightmare. I'm glad that Todd didn't enjoy team games in StarCraft. Alright guys, round 2. Currently 1-0 in favor of the SSLT. Bottom left side it is Toodming, a Chinese Zerg. As he's taking on this man in the top right side. Representing Basilisk. He is our Canadian beautiful feisty young man. Trigger. I am still very good friends with Todd, and I would like to keep it that way. And I don't care how cool 3v3 is going to be in Stormgate. And there is a good chance, guys, that I will even play more 3v3 than I will ever play 1v1. I think after 10, 12 years of playing a 1v1 game, I'm definitely looking forward to the 3v3, and I hope it's great. But I don't think I'm going to play with Todd, man. I'll gladly play against Todd. I'm sure that will make for some great games, but Todd is too intimidating to have as an ally. Warcraft had team games and they were very fun. And I don't want to give you guys the entire story because it's a very long story. But basically 5-6 years ago, I was living in Santa Monica, California. Todd visited me. We had 2 computers. And at one point we decided to play, I don't know actually how he set it up. Maybe he had a laptop, because I don't remember having space for 2 PCs there. But apparently, both of us were playing Warcraft 3. And basically, my entire army got stuck. It got webbed. Todd told me to retreat. I said, Todd, I can't. I'm webbed. And Todd is like, with the fuck, why are you so stubborn? Can you just listen to me one time? I'm like, Todd, My units are literally wept. He's like, please go back right now. And I was like, I don't know what he wants from me. So the game ends. Todd just crapped the entire map. My entire army got obliterated. Todd finally showed up and he basically won the game 2v1. I was running around with one hero. After the game he came in, he's like, you really have to learn how to listen to me. I was like, Todd, my units were stuck. What can I do? He's like, this is the problem with you. You never listen. I was like, oh my god. He's like, I don't think we should play 2v2 anymore. I was like, you know what? I actually think you're right. And then Todd was pissed. And then basically, we were streaming. And a bunch of people were like, oh man, Todd is kind of being rude. And Todd just went on the craziest banning streak in my channel in history. He banned like 30, 40 people in a row. 20-month subs, 30-month subs, 40-month subs. And he looked at me, he's like, what? You don't think that I have the right to defend myself? And I was like, oh my god. I was like, this is the most uncomfortable spot ever. I was like, guys, I'm wrapping up the stream. And then obviously later on he calmed down. We spoke about it. Everybody got unbanned. Yeah, that's the last time I played team games with Todd. And I learned my lesson. I still love him. He's one of my best friends. But no team games for us. Alright, let's focus on game 2 here. It's the best of 7, guys. Obviously, first to 4 wins the clan bar. But every point, every map does matter. Trigger decided to pick altitude. It is a very big map. I think that makes sense if you're not afraid of the ultra late game scenario or even just later stages. Some of the players do prefer the smaller maps, but those are often the ones that prefer Twilight openings over Stargate. On a map like this, it is better to open Stargate because Stargate units are quicker and it takes a long time for adepts to make it to the other side of the map. Pretty quick lair on the side of Toodming. 4-minute lair. Keep an eye on that. Oh, I did play Dota with Todd. At one point, guys, well, instead of playing Dota, I'll keep an eye on the action, since you guys are apparently enjoying this. I used to play a lot of Heroes of New Earth, and I was on the same team as incredibly good players. I was also, over the entire Europe ladder, I was like rank 15 at one point, so I was ultra high ranked. I won the biggest online tournament there was, which was basically, you have the weeklies, and then at the end of the weeklies, at the end of the month, you had the monthly final with the 16 best teams. My team won it. I then played Hunt with Todd, and Todd commended me around and said I didn't know what I was doing, and I should take notes from him. And I was like, Todd, I'm like 300 MMR above you. It was like rank 200 in Europe. I was rank 15. And according to Todd, I was terrible, and the reason we were losing was because of me. I was like, alright. Okay, guys, so that quick lair has turned into a Nidus network that's going up right now. So we have Queens, Lings, and a Nidus. It is very important for Trigger to not let this Nidus go up in the main base. At this point, our Canadian boy, maybe he kind of suspects something is not quite right. But based on the production tab, guys, I don't think he really knows. That Overlord is now heading into the main base. There's going to be a Nidus in the main. It's right at the bottom of the main. Oh. Trigger, will he see it, guys? He should see it right now. Can he deny it? It's so important that we deny the Nidus going up in the main base. Please, Trigger, tell me we see it. We see it, but it's too late. It's too late. Oh, no, it's too late. It's too late. It's too late. Queen's going to get out. Queens will get out, and they will transfuse. Hello? Okay. I mean, he's just going to drop another Nidus, and I do think that the second Nidus is going to go up as well. Creep tumor goes down. This is honestly very scary, guys. This is not looking all that good for the Basilisk boys. Definitely not for Trigger, as we are going to wipe in a couple of sentries, but there's already so many links. Oracles will run out of energy. More Queens on load. Force field is not going to save us. We were 1 second late. The Queen Ling Nidus. I think this is always going to be way too much damage. I don't think there is anything the Trigger can really do. He does have a cannon. Obviously, the natural is forfeit, and that's -2 gateways. That's minus a Cybercore. That's minus a Nexus. I don't know. Another Nidus is going to go up on the left side. Trigger definitely looks a little bit defeated too. I think he knows that he's in all sorts of trouble. We're looking at 52 army split. There's going to be creep everywhere. We can't really clean up the creep. So many freaking links, so many queens in the mix as well. Oracles are going to kill some drones on the other side of the map, but one of the oracles also dies. Wow. This is looking a little grim, as the Lings are going to take control of the third base as well. I think it's all over. I would almost say against all odds, it's not even a draw, but it's a 2-0 win for Toodming. Last week, Basilisk was also trailing 0-2 after the first two maps. That was against Dark. At the beginning of the series, I said Toodming is good, but he's no Dark. Well, Toodming took that personal and he said, fuck you, Roddy. I'm better than Dark. I was like, well, I don't think we need to get that carried away here, mate, but... it's a brutal one for Trigger. But yeah, it is what it is. Game 1, I think just a small misread, not realizing how low on drones Toodming was. And here in Game 2, the all-in. The all-in can always get you. All-ins are brutal. You don't see too many all-ins in ZVP, but it is cool to see that once in a blue moon, an all-in can still hit hard and it can still get the job done. Definitely one of the more surprising best of 2 outcomes of the season so far, guys. And I'm not saying that because I'm a Trigger fanboy or because I'm biased towards Basilisk. If you would have told me in advance that Toodming is going to take a map of Trigger, I'd be like, yeah, that's possible. Toodming is good. I can definitely see him take a map. But a 2-0 is surprising. Look at 18 drones, by the way, guys. The fighting spirit is strong here by Trigger. I feel like we are more dead here than we were by the time we left Game 1. Even in Game 1, it obviously looked very dire when he was down to 2 bases, but this looks even worse. I think maybe Trigger is hoping for a universe where Toodming is on like 30 drones here, right? 30, 35 drones. We can see how many workers Toodming has. We can see that he's obviously never going to lose this game. Trigger just wants to make sure that he doesn't leave too early. Does have an Archon, lens of feedback. Force field is actually going to block Trigger out of his own natural. That means that this Nexus is just going to die one more time. Yeah, we are on some serious next level copium at this point. You guys are getting closer and closer to a Roddy game. It is what it is. It's a lot of queens, guys. Toodming is having a field day. I can guarantee you guys that Toodming does not mind this. Whenever you know you've got a game in the bag, but the game is going on, you enjoy every second so much longer. You enjoy it so much more. It's brutal for our boy. It's brutal for Basilisk. Definitely in a little bit of trouble right now. But I still think we're gonna be fine. 3 Archons holding the line on the ramp, but Trigger knows that he is just way too far behind. GG gets called. Toodming takes a surprising 2-0 victory. That's an amazing start for the Hungry Camels. That's an amazing start for them. I am obviously biased, guys. I am the homecaster of Basilisk, but wow! When is the last time we saw this, guys? When is the last time we saw this? A 1% being the correct prediction. Well, it's safe to say that I'm not the only one who is surprised by this one. True believers for Toodming. I want to make sure I don't misclick. And I didn't. Alright. Now I don't know who's going to play next, by the way. I am not totally sure if we're now going to go with Silky Serral or Firefly Reynor. Silky. It's going to be Silky. Start a prediction. Silky versus Serral. This is our prediction. I'll give you guys 10 minutes. I hope that's correct. I think it's correct. Alright. So we have a ZVZ with the great Jonas Totala. Is this a ZVZ? Yes, it is a ZVZ. 1% was a misclick. I don't think it was. Maybe I feel like the 1% was of very fanatic Protoss players that just really hate PvZ and said, even if I believe in Trigger, Zerg Busto. Zerg is going to win. They did. Got your home story cup ticket? Let's go, Era. It seems, by the way, guys, that Vicky and her brother are going to be at home story cup as well. Yeah. Now, obviously, I do think that 1% was lowballing it a little bit. It is surprising, but it's not that Toodming is a pleb, right? We're not looking at a Grandmaster League player against a Diamond League player. Toodming is good, and this team literally defeated the Shopify Rebellion the other week. So clearly, SSLT is good. I think a more realistic one coming into it would have been like 65% trigger win, 25% draw, 10% Toodming win, or maybe 30% draw, 5% Toodming win. I think that would have been realistic odds. How's your Bulgarian coming along, Roddy? Mawak penis, Kalazur. Dobre TC. That's all I got. Victoria is not teaching me anything. She's not nice in that regard. She doesn't like the idea of me speaking Bulgarian or something. And her Dutch is actually very good. Or at least, it's very good with a strong accent, but it's still very good. And I have been asking. Most of the Bulgarian that I have spoken is me looking things up on Google and then telling it to her. See, this never teaches me anything. Stuff to play good StarCraft at 8 AM. Yeah, it did not help us that Trigger obviously was supposed to play later and now had to play a bit earlier, but I don't think we want to make any excuses. Toodming played well and he got a win. It's all good. No need to picnic. 2-0 for SSLT. But we've got our great Jonas Sutala up next. And don't forget that we still have the 50% man on board too. So I'm not worried, guys. We have Reynor, who is just known to get a map win on the board, you know. He doesn't lose. He goes 1-1 and he's solid. And then we've got Serral, who's just known to be the 2-0 guy. So I still see at the very bare minimum an ace match. What is Roddy doing in Bulgaria? Roddy has never gone to Bulgaria in his life. So Roddy's at home, mate. Kalazur is in Bulgaria, not Roddy. Hello, Therese. Hey, Bruno, maybe your Quebecois cousin can travel together with Vicky's bro, because he too is studying in Munich, or he's working in Munich rather. Roddy, you are welcome to come and be my guest if you want to come to Bulgaria. Only if you live at Sunny Beach, mate. I'll go to Sunny Beach. I will go. Maybe even this summer I'll go. Roddy, come to Bulgaria. Here we will meet you as the king of SC and you'll feel great. I appreciate the love, guys. There is a good chance that maybe this summer I'll come. And we can organize a little StarCraft 2 day together with Kalazur. He'll be there. We'll meet up all the Bulgarian nerds. We'll get the Rexy to come out as well. No HoloNet. They had an issue with Silky. I'm gonna go ahead and take a look if there is a new issue or not. They don't say new issues, so I do expect Serral vs Silky to start sometime soon. My chat is being taken over by the Bulgarians. Roddy, I have a hotel in Sunny Beach. No joke, you're really welcome. Alright, Tatko. I'm coming. Under one condition though, guys. When I'm coming to Bulgaria, I want everyone to call me Venko. That is my Bulgarian name. I will not be a Kevin in Bulgaria. I'm Venko. See you guys this summer. It's gonna be great. No Disneyland, but Bulgaria it is. Can the maps of the second matchup be the same as the ones from the first, or can each map... No, you can choose. Obviously, the starting map is always going to be different, but let's say Serral wins game 1. If Silky then really wants to play Altitude, he's allowed to play Altitude. It's getting really vulgar in here. I don't think so. I don't know if we have a theme actually for the next Home Story Cup. It's a good question. I'll see if I can reach Derbovo.
游戏暂停。
Oh my goodness. We were ready, and then we weren't ready. This has been a bit of a tease, eh? Serral vs Silky better delivers, because they've been teasing it for a while now. First it was the tease to look forward to. Then they said, no, we're going to feed it to you immediately. But then they're like, no, we're going to do another match first. And now you think you're in, but you're still not quite in. I'm not getting my hopes up. All right. Guys, let's do it.
Let's get it on.
Important match obviously at this point. The Royal Blood in the bottom left side. We are looking at the main base of the great Iona Sotala. In the top right side, will probably soon be taking a look at the main base of the man that's representing the SSLT. We're up 2-0. Only one other team ever took a 2-0 lead over Basilisk. And that was Dragon Kaisi Gaming. We still won though. This is the main base of Silky. Silky is dangerous. Serral will obviously be wary of it. Look at that wave in Serral's hair, man. It's beautiful. He's a golden boy. I think Serral should join us to Bulgaria. Serral at Sunny Beach. Let's go. It is very hot in here. Where's the sauna? I think I prefer Finland. Stara is the name of the company. That Jan? I didn't see the Jan. Serral looks fierce. Obviously, ZVZ is always scary, even if you are the favorite. It's just a matchup where even just scouting alone is often not enough, because you can sell wrong information to your opponent. If Serral would just send a couple of links into the natural and he sees an X amount of drones, you can be like, oh, okay, that means it's standard. But if Silky would have transferred those drones from the main base to oversaturate his natural, but he's actually banking up a bunch of units in his main, it really is a matchup about double checking and triple checking. And things are not always what they seem to be. It's already a bit weird on Silky's side, by the way. He is not starting link speed. He's got 172 gas. Maybe 2 base. There's our lair. 2 base lair. And then we can go roaches into missile attacks, but he can even do weird stuff. Like a quick spire. Maybe he's been studying the Wayne Vanya Rarata games. Evolution chamber goes down. I think my Gabe is the best. I have way more content to work with when it comes down to Gabe. One thing I actually haven't been able to do lately is watch a lot of Gabriel's streams. It's very important for me because Gabe just delivers every single stream. It doesn't matter what he's doing. Whether it's 1v1, 2v2, 3v3, tryharding or having fun. Gabe always delivers some fine content that I can work with for a long time. Serral didn't see the pool. I am sure that Serral is expecting that to be a spawning pool. Serral obviously knows that he is the one going up to 3 bases, and he will see that Silky is still on 2. We have the +1 missile attacks on the way. Silky's taking all the gases though, guys. I'm actually not even totally sure where Silky is going to go with this. Like, maybe he will go for a quick spire. Maybe he will be all out +1 roaches. Could be roach +1 nidus even. Like, no, that's a spire. But it's just hard in ZVZ, I think, to figure it out. Serral is not a fan of the Multa. I think he thinks it's kind of annoying. Silky's plays very greedy, man. Economically 42 drones. I'm starting to get a bit worried, guys. The SSLT caused a big upset in the WTL code as just a couple days ago when they took out the Shopify Rebellion. And I wasn't really a believer of them winning that clan war until it actually happened and it was all over. They're starting to look pretty good here. Serral has a couple of speed links on the left side of Royal Blood. He's going to get on top of the hatchery. Don't think Silky quite has units in position to deal with this. These links are going to deal a lot of damage. Serral's going to try to get one happy, brave little circling in. Doesn't. At least in a very easy cancel and the drone kill. That is nice. Can we run in? No, Serral's is going to get the second drone as well, so we'd love to see that.
Double kill.
10 roaches on the way now for Silky, as that Spire is about to finish up. There is a chance that maybe Silky tried to pull out Reynor's special strategy. Serral's going to get a very good scout here, but it's still important to see what comes out of the X, right? He's going to see the extra roaches, but he will also see that the Spire is done. Silky has way more battle units out than Serral at the moment. So I like that Serral is now building a couple of roaches himself. And we're going to get a Spore Crawler or two. So far, so good. This could still become a rather annoying game for Serral, because obviously he's going to have to give up map control for a while, but I think he's done a good job in delaying the third base. Silky's getting a Lurker then too? What? Not a Lurker then, a Hydra then. Roaches, Muras, and a Hydra then, of 2 bases. It's a little bit of everything. Serral is going to drop his own Hydra then, but that makes a little more sense. Because he obviously had the Roach opening. He now sees the Muras. Lurker is on the production tab now for Silky, or the Lurker den at least. I'm not quite sure. Maybe this sets up for some like tiny window where he's going to have a couple of Lurkers and they will be very impactful. And I guess we're not going to go Hive, right? I think it's just going to be lair tech Lurkers. 1 shot, 1 punch. Try to get the dub. It's an interesting build here by Silky. Feels a little bit all over the place. That Overseer that's heading towards the main base and natural right now is very important. Silky knows it's out there. He's going to bring the Mutas over. It would be amazing for Serral to just get the scout. And obviously Silky knows that, so he's going to do his best to prevent this. And he will. I don't think the Overseer really saw any Hydras. This can honestly get a bit scary, guys. Serral's enjoying a 12 worker lead. But it's not so much about that. Obviously that's nice. Serral's going to try to scout again. Man, these guys are tricky. SSLT really making Basilisk work for it so far. 4 Lurkers on the way. I don't think Silky is going to go Hive, guys. I don't think this is ever about like the Hive tech upgrades. It's just about that moment where he's going to get Lurkers, and Lurkers will rule the battlefield, even without their sexy upgrades. Serral's going to scout it, but by the time that Serral scouts it, it's already happening. If you take a look at the center of the map, Silky is now going to the other side of the map. It's 99 army supply against 102. This is honestly very scary. Serral drops an infestation pit. We're going to need a good fight here, guys. Serral's going to need a good fight. It's going to be hard against the Lurkers. Can he get 1? Yes, he does get 1 immediately. Drop the corrosive bars as well. This is scary. I think Serral's totally fine. Well, not totally fine. He's going to go for it. He gets the second Lurker. He gets the third Lurker. He gets Lurker number 4 as well. Make it 5. And now there's only 2 Lurkers remaining. Serral will do Serral things. Even though the supplies are a bit close, there are still 2 Lurkers in the back. But the support for the Lurkers have disappeared. That's a double kill if I've ever seen one. Yona holds. I think we can be very lucky there, guys. That Silky... I felt that Silky was a little reckless with his attack. He exposed a couple of the Lurkers before the other ones were burrowed. I feel like if the tables are turned and it's Serral with that army and Silky with the army of Serral, I actually think that Serral could have won that with the Lurker army. The Ravage's own unupgraded Lurkers. They can be decent, but I wouldn't say that they quite own them. I think that goes a bit far. Now we obviously love it, guys. Serral has an infestation pit. He is going up to Hive. Well, scary. Scary, scary moment there. Our man Yona is still completely undefeated in the WTL code S. He has a perfect 7-0 record. Played 7 games, won all 7. I want to say that's honestly the most scared I was for him in any of those 7 games. Couple of the versus Terran games on Dragon Skills, they were kind of close, but yeah, no, after the cleanup, it's game over. For Silky, it was 1 shot, 1 opportunity. To quote Mr. Bitter, he was the One Punch Man, which I believe is an anime. I have not seen it. Serral at this point just has more and has better stuff. This is a tournament match or a friendly. It's a team league. Exclamation mark B will link you to the Wikipedia page of the WTL code S. This is regular season. So far we are 3-0, SSLT is 2-1, but they are having a 2-0 lead over us, but that 2-0 lead is about to become a 2-1 lead, and Silky will tap out, and Serral does what he does best, and that is just win. That's the first point on the board for Basilisk. Iona. Silky will now have the map choice, guys. If he wants, he can indeed pick altitude again, but I would be very... Well, I guess it is a map where you can do some funky stuff in ZVC, but I don't know what Silky will choose. Maybe like Babylon? Something a bit smaller? I feel like the smaller the map, the more likely it is that you can cause an upset. Unless you obviously go for something like a Nidus, right? Neo-Humanity. I know I didn't say it, but I was thinking about Neo-Humanity, but then I was like, slow zones, cooling towers. I don't know if he feels that, but... That is correct, Henom. But that's something we know. I don't think that's something that Silky necessarily knows. Unless they have like a spy watching every single minute of the Roddy stream to pick up on things that Serral have said in interviews. But don't think they necessarily know that. Serral's still stuck at 93. I'm more excited to see Reynor's power ranking. Did they give Reynor another point after that 2-0 over MaxPack yesterday? Or did they take a point because he is just a 50% player in the WTL regular season? We'll figure it out soon. How do the rankings go up and down? They look at player performances and they adjust them. Reynor Max Packs was pretty entertaining. Yeah, it was not bad. Bottom right side of Neo-Humanity. This is his map pick. We are looking at the main base of the Chinese Zerg, SSLT, Silky. Top left side, we are looking at the great Iona Sotala representing Basilisk. It's Serral. Why Serral loses 1 point? I don't think he lost a point. He was 93, he's still 93. Serral ain't losing anything. How's the ESL Masters, by the way, guys? I hope you guys know that you're always allowed to talk about games that are happening in the ESL Masters. If there are some cool scores coming in, feel free to share them with me. I don't have it open right now because it'd be a bit too distracting to watch 2 games at the same time. But feel free to talk to me about it. Hey, last week he was 93. Why did he lose a point? I don't know. The man didn't really lose anything. Maybe it's because of the 1 loss in the Kung Fu Cup against Max Packs. What is the point of these points? To give players an idea of how strong the players are. Or to give viewers the idea, rather, not players. Sorry. It's just the production of the BTL, ranking the players. And like a lot of you guys are diehards and you obviously know how good Serral is and you know how good Silky is. But there are always a lot of people watching just StarCraft very casually, and they may not know how far apart certain players are in the skill level. So then by using the points, that gives you a rough idea of like how big certain upset would be and how much of a favorite a certain player is over the other player. For a lot of people it's not needed and they can discuss it, whether they agree or disagree, but obviously we can't assume that everybody is a diehard. It's the same when you have a big sporting event, right? If there are 2 million people watching the Dutch national team play, out of those 2 million, only like 1 million are going to be very diehard, and the other 1 million watches casually. And then you've got 100,000 people who wouldn't even be able to name a single player, but they still watch. The day that I play is the day that you guys will know my rating. Roddy will play eventually, guys. We'll figure it out. But it's not about me. So far I am enjoying watching from the sidelines. Feeling that I have a little bit of an impact on how everything plays out. I do make the order. Alright, we have Silky firing up a bunch of Zerglings. Serral is the one who opened up with a spawning pool and gas, I believe was a little bit later, and a hatchery. So Serral has opened up, I want to say at first, very safe. Now Silky, guys, is just making ling after ling after ling, and he is ready to send all of these Zerglings to the other side of the map. It's important for Serral that he doesn't queue up a whole bunch of drones right now. Serral with the little Ling Scout. These are the little 2 Zerglings that could Little Lings, big dreams. Are going to see at least a couple of the Lings. And yeah, Serral has seen enough. He knows what's up. Even dropping a Spine Crawler, guys. He is showing a lot of respect to this. Silky is droning up behind this. That Spine is going to get cancelled, but I don't think Serral really is in any trouble. As long as we don't do something silly with our Queens. I don't want to say that was silly, but I was bait. It was bait. Serral's still good. Oh, one Queen did die. But that's all Gucci. It was a big investment by Silky, and so far, a single Queen is not enough. Serral is still enjoying an 8 worker lead. By making that many Lings early on, you obviously severely handicap your own economy. And Silky got a little bit of damage there, but not enough to really talk about a success. On top of that, Silky needs to be careful right now because Serral has Banelings and Silky doesn't. And also Silky does not have a Roach Warren. So if Serral just makes a few more Lings right now, he can really apply some serious pressure. And obviously Silky is going to be able to use the Queens. That Queen is on the wrong side of the wall of Silky. Is that on purpose? That seems crazy to me. I mean, I don't know. It felt like it was on purpose, right? Based on his movement, it felt like it was on purpose. Silky is in trouble now, by the way, as he's sending his Lings to the other side of the map. But Serral is going to be able to break through. He's going to get the Roach Warren by the looks of it. That was the Roach Warren. That's a straight up kill. Silky can still not produce anything but just Zerglings. The Lings of Silky on the other side of the map are not getting a whole lot done. And it's starting to look better and better for the great Iona. Basilisk was down 0-2 for 2 consecutive weeks. But it seems like just like last week, guys. After the second best of 2, we're all tied up. I actually think that he's very close to that rating, Sneeuw in a wheelchair. Not sure how close, but he is very close to that rating. Lings are going to get this Evo Chamber as well. That will mean obviously a couple of Broodlings are going to spawn. The Baneling is just going to settle for the Broodlings, and that opens the floodgates for all these Lings of Serral. He's going to avoid the Queens at first, and he's just going to try to get a good scout off in the main base and get a little bit of extra damage done. Serral is in a marvelous spot here, guys. Ooh, there's 2 Banelings. You're going to have to let that Spore Crawler finish up, I think. If you cancel it, the Banelings will come in. So yeah, Spore Crawler is finished up. Silky is supply blocked as well. Serral's like, let me help you with that. Kind of confused on how he is supply blocked. He now also has 3 evolution chambers in his wall. Huh? He's going for Hydras, alright. Well, I don't know where Silky's going to take this game, but what I do know is that he is in serious trouble. Things are looking grim. What is the correct play here for Silky? Lord knows. Oh! And to make things go from bad to worse, he runs into a Baneling as well.
Oh my gosh. This is going from worse to worse.
For his opponent, obviously. Not for Yona himself, guys. But for Silky. We are scouting with an Overseer. Serral is wondering, should I end it now? Should I end it later? Obviously, wants to make sure that nothing crazy happens. He stays locked in, dialed in. But at this point, it just feels that Silky is really running out of options, guys. I would like to do the caster thing for you guys, but I don't even know where to start with the caster thing. He has a couple of Hydras. Now, Hydras in very big numbers can obviously be very good against Roaches, but small Hydras without any of their upgrades, or small numbers of Hydras, are not going to get it done. Serral's enjoying a 50 supply lead. He's just going to run into the natural with no regard for Hydra's lives. He's going to get on top of it. He's going to take him out. And we will be all tied up. GG gets called. Serral with another 2-0. Improves his WTL regular season record to 9-0, by the way. I think that's the hottest start that anybody has ever had into the WTL code as regular season. Number 1. That's right. That's his number. Just like Mox, Serral is a number 1 as well. I hope I didn't ruin your favorite player so early. Number 1, baby. Number 1. Number 1 on the car. Number 1 on the camera. Super Riona. Alright, 96% of you guys believe that Serral was going to tie things up for us, and he did. We have another prediction. It is Reynor versus Firefly. Best of 2. Reynor is our 50% man. Can our 50% man send it to an ace match? I believe. I'm gonna give you guys 10 minutes. I do really need to take a tiny break, guys. I need to run to the restroom. I'll be back in 2-3 minutes with with Reynor versus Firefly. Right now, we're all tied up. What does that mean? 2-0 for Reynor, and it's all over. A 1-1, and we'll go into an ace match, an 0-2, and we get our first loss of the regular season. I'll be right back. See you guys in a couple minutes. It is time. It is time. Players are ready, by the looks of it. Roddy is ready. 65 is the rating of Firefly. Now for the most anticipated moment, the ranking of Reynor. He's still an 83, just like last week. Our 50% man. Can he do it again, guys? Can he send us to an ace match? Or is he going to break the streak and actually get a 2-0 on the board? Game 1 is going to be played on altitude. Firefly really is quite good, by the way. I know that he's maybe not a name that a lot of you guys will get very excited over or are that familiar with, but I've casted him a decent amount over the last few weeks in some of the qualifiers, in ESL Masters, in WTL, WTL Code A. I've been impressed. He is a good player. And he's a very pretty young man. Gotta give it to him. He's good looking. Now, I'm sure that was a little bit of Photoshop there. I refuse to believe that his skin is that smooth. But he's a good looking man. I know, Bruno. He's too pretty. He's too pretty to be good at StarCraft. Come on, man. No one has skin that good if we're sitting here drinking Monster and eating Doritos all day. Come on, now. That's a Vivo selfie. I don't know what Vivo is. But if that's a filter, I believe you. Currently 2-2. The first team to reach 4 points wins. With a 2-0, it's all over. With 1-1, we go into an ace match. After this, guys, we also have Abydos against Berserker Esports. I don't know the lineups, but I'm excited for it. I look forward to it. Should be a fun one. But obviously, we'll do a little interview as well, like we've done every single WTL match. As long as the players are down for that. I think they are. I'll try to keep it somewhat short because I don't want to miss too much of our second best of 7. But a little chitty chat never hurts anyone. Here we go. Third best of 2 of the clan war in the top right side, representing SSLT. That's Firefly. And in the bottom left side, we are looking at the main base of our 50% man. This is BASILISK Reynor. Got the job done yesterday. It was an important win for Reynor over MaxPax, since Reynor actually has some school obligations soon. So he didn't really look forward to playing in the lower bracket, because then he would be forced to play from a different setup, maybe play from Italy again. And he wasn't even available for one of the play dates. So it was very important for Reynor that he got the job done yesterday, and he did. Showed us that last Monday, that wasn't the real Reynor. Because on Monday he obviously ran into MaxPax, and he went for a couple of silly builds. Because he did not want to make MaxPax any wiser than he already is. And we know that MaxPax has a brain the size of a watermelon. And you don't want to feed that brain even more info. School obligations, that sounds exciting. I don't think Reynor finds it very exciting at all. 0% chance Reynor loses. I would not say it's a 0%. Reynor is a big favorite. I'm not gonna play it up and pretend that he's not, because obviously he is a big favorite, but Firefly is good. And if Reynor takes this lightly, which I know he won't, but even if he just plays bad, then Firefly can absolutely win. Let me guess, Adept Glaive. I'm expecting Stargate here. I'd be very surprised if Firefly opens up with Adepts and Glaives here on altitude. But perhaps you're right. What is he studying? He's just finishing up high school. I don't think Reynor is officially studying anything. He's studying on becoming a content creator and an amazing pro gamer. He's doing it both. Like, alright, we've had a lot of content creators over the years. We've had pro gamers over the years. We had decent pro gamers becoming content creators. I'll be the first. That's the very best at both. There is our Stargate. So I was right and Punky KW was wrong. I just want to get it on the record before people say that I'm never right. Live and learn, mate. Live and learn. The interesting thing will be the follow-ups for Firefly. Like, oracles are not surprising. Reynor will not be surprised by oracles, but it really just comes down to the adapt movement and the follow-up after the oracles. And how many oracles, right? 2 oracles is a bit of a standard, but 3 oracles is not something that surprises us these days. And you also have the Protoses that go up to 4 or even 5 oracles. For Reynor, it's just important to be bulletproof in the first few minutes. Guys like Reynor, Dark, and Serral can be frustrating to watch for other Zergs, and Lambo I think deserves to be mentioned there as well. But they make it look easy to have your queens in the right position and have a Spore Crawler finish up at the right moment. Any other Zerg will tell you that it's really not that easy to have flawless early game. These guys are just so well practiced. Game sense is through the roof. They know what they need to do. 3 minutes 30 second a third in Nexus for Firefly. Where are the adepts, by the way? I am, of course, not the observer. I can only show what they show me. Reynor is sending his first few links to the other side of the map. Firefly is not revealing anything here other than the Oracle. He could activate Pulsar Beam, but he doesn't want to do it unless he's forced to do it. I think you're kind of forced to do it right now, mate. There we go. Activates Pulsar Beam, gets 2 Zerglings. Good Oracle micro there. Almost got the third one. Thank you, amigo, for the 11 months. It's very sweet of you. Alright, so our follow-up is going to be the Twilight Council and the Forge. That is obviously not super surprising. We saw Trigger attempt to do the same thing in that first game. Showtime has been quite fond of following this up with a very quick robo. I'm expecting Firefly to just play Blink here. I don't think Charge would make a lot of sense. For Glaives, I mean, there's a small chance he goes Glaives, but it'd be kind of weird. I would not recommend it. Very passive start here to our third best of 2. Reynor fires up +1 melee, and he's just a happy drone boy. Firefly is not really showing us a lot of urgency to get a whole lot done with these oracles. Maybe he just feels that Reynor's queen positioning is going to be too good and he doesn't think it's worth it to take a whole lot of damage on his oracles. He hasn't spent a lot of energy, so if the other oracles make their way over, triple oracle, triple pulsar beam could, I want to say, deal a lot of damage to the hatchery, but I think it has a bit too much HP to really kill it. There is Blink, there is +1, and we're now going up to 4 bases. At 5 minutes and 30 seconds, drops the Robo 2. Reynor has a Roach Warren finishing up. I do expect Reynor to build a whole lot more drones before he starts building too many battle units. So he is going to check and see if the unit is still in hold position. If this was a hero game, we'd now be talking about Lings in the natural and main base. But Firefly is no hero. That's a lot of sentries, by the way. Little revelation goes down too. We are just macroing, guys. And now really it's kind of up to Reynor, right, to decide if he wants to build a lot of units now or if he wants to go up to 80 plus workers. If he drops an infestation pit to potentially go up for a quick hive. Or if he is going to try to be a little more aggro with Roach, Ling, Rev, Jabane. This is a decent amount of links that can absolutely get a cancel on that gateway. It is important for Firefly that he does cancel it. You don't want to lose random minerals. Second Robo and a Robo Bay. I do like this build by Firefly. 77 workers, by the way, guys. Firefly is playing a pretty sexy game here. Reynor is going to try one more time, but the Adept is still there. Drops a second Evolution Chamber as well, guys. Second Evo and Overlord Speed. This could honestly become pretty difficult. Like, the most interesting moment right now with a game like this, it's kind of like we're waiting for +2 melee to finish up. If +2 melee is done, obviously the Banings have a lot of potential to kill workers quickly. Firefly is already anticipating for that, for even having a observer down the left side. Here comes the first Dropper Lord. Is that just for queens? Firefly has 5 more workers than Reynor, but Reynor's army supply is about to explode as he is making nothing but Lings, Roach, Ravagers, Banelings, queens. So he is clearly really going for it. We have... What is that at the bottom? Is that drop lord? Is that the drop lord with queens? Yeah. It seems that Reynor, guys, is going to try to attack the natural. Maybe he feels that the third is hard to attack because of the Sim City. The fourth base is hard to attack because of the Sim City. So Reynor is going all out for the natural. Honestly, Firefly can hold this, guys. With 2 Colossus already out, a bunch of force fields to work with too. It's going to be an interesting attack. And if this wasn't Reynor against Firefly, I would generally believe in the Protoss. And even if it is Reynor against Firefly, I kind of believe in the Protoss here. Firefly is just once more showing us that he is a very capable Protoss. Right now, this is going to be an interesting engagement. There are a few more stasis traps. The stasis traps have been activated. What Firefly would really need, I think, guys, is a cannon and a battery in the natural. It would make his life a lot easier if he has a cannon and a battery in the natural. But the Reynor is now running into the army at the third base. The force fields are picture perfect. The oracles still have a lot of energy. There is shield battery overcharge there that are being used in the back. I like that blink, I think, to keep the Colossus alive. Kind of feel that Firefly is playing a beautiful game so far. Reynor is not going to break Firefly here, guys. I really don't think that's ever going to happen. Sure, Ravages are scary, but there are more Colossi coming in from the top. There are more Stalkers coming in from the top. Yeah, this was an amazing hold by Firefly. He's just doing everything correct. Reynor is in a bit of trouble here, man. He's now down 17 army supply. He doesn't have a hive. Infestation pit only now going down. I mean, I'm the homecaster for Basilisk. I'm the biased boy, but I will always give credit where credit is due. And Firefly is just playing an amazing game so far, guys. He is playing an absolutely amazing game. And yeah, maybe Reynor just kind of took this one too lightly after all, where he's like, I can just make a couple units. I can just run to the other side of the map without anything happening. I can still get the job done here. Reynor is going to lose all these overlords as well. You can already see him shaking his head a little bit. 8 overlords there going down. All the Ravages died. Reynor is not happy. He is in so much trouble. He's down economically. He just killed nothing there. I want to see, what is the units lost resource tab? Is that the number in the bottom side? Reynor has lost 5,000 resources more than Firefly. I mean, that is not just a hold for Firefly, man. That is just ultra freaking clean. Can Reynor pull off a miraculous hold? Firefly is just gonna run all the Colossus into the main base. That is pretty sweet. That's a sweet way of going about things. There are a lot of Banelings here though, and Banelings on creep, and Roaches and Ravages on creep. I maybe believe here for Reynor as the Banelings crash into a lot of the Stalkers. One of the Colossus died. And Firefly lost a lot of units there. Never underestimate the power of creep. That does not mean that Reynor is out of the woods just yet. Reynor is still in all sorts of trouble, but that was a decent little start. There are a couple of Zealots running towards that base in the bottom right side. These are Zealots with +2. So just Lings alone are going to have a very hard time dealing with these Zealots. The main army of the Protoss is still going into the main base as well. I need to make sure that my audio is fine. Spawning pool is most likely going to fall, and that means no more additional Lings and Banes for Reynor, as the Stalkers is just doing their thing in a beautiful concave. That War Prism is safe. There is a stasis trap. I think Firefly got a little bit overeager the first time around, but with the amazing position that he was in, he can get away with it. This Chinese Protoss, man, is good. And these Chinese guys overall, nothing to scoff at. Good Colossus micro there as well. Saves the low HP Colossus. Still has 3 out of 4 Colossi alive. Couple Zealots slicing up 15 drones in the bottom right side. And it seems that for the second time in this clan war, Basilisk will be training. Firefly is good. He is honestly very, very solid. Reynor knows it. He's been shaking his head a lot over the last few minutes. That attack was just a straight up disaster. It did not work out at all. Losing all the overlords at the tail end of it just made things go from bad to worse. And it will be SSLT that's going to take the 3-2 lead here over Basilisk. They surprised us in the previous playday by taking down the Shopify Rebellion. They're showing us here that that was not a fluke. These guys are ready to play video games. They are apparently just loving the WTL. They care, they prepare, they come in with a plan. Reynor is on a little bit of hopium copium here. Love the fighting spirit, but it is not going to change the outcome of the game. GG gets called and Firefly. Let's go for a little deep breath. Drink some water as well. I don't know what's happening with that green thing. Maybe he peeled it for luck, but That is a surprising start to this best of 2. Somebody said 0% chance Reynor loses. I fought that statement. And I was right. It was an ultra defensive setup from Firefly. And because he played it so defensive, he had a lot of energy on the oracles. But then the way that he positioned his army defensively, it was just good, man. With the stasis traps, with the force fields. I think maybe what Reynor should have done is run into the natural rather than chase that army towards the third base. But obviously it's very hard to run into the natural because then the army is just wailing away from the side, getting a lot of hits off. We need Mr. 50% more than ever before, guys. Reynor, it's time for you to do what you do best. And that is go 50% in WTL Code S. So Serral needs to win as an ace again. We are not there yet, guys. Did you guys not watch the same game that I just watched? Firefly is good. Can we stop counting him out like he's some sort of a pleb that can never win? Like, these are games that are being played on the US West server that obviously makes for slightly different video gaming already. And Firefly clearly came in with a plan. Yeah, no, obviously a 2-0 for Firefly would be very surprising. I'm with you guys, but you cannot just watch the game that I just watched too with you guys and say there is a 0% chance that Firefly wins again. Because that was not a lucky one-off victory. No, he played defensively, he played solid, he had a strategy, he executed it at a very high level, and he won. Like, you can't say there is a 0% chance he does that again. But Reynor is our 50% man. What happened in Trigger and Toodming? So game 1 was on Grass 1. Toodming made a lot of units, the way that Toodming likes to make a lot of units of a relatively weak economy, like 62 or so drones. Had a good Ling run by at the third, where he killed some pylons and a battery, took the pressure off, and then he just went for a big attack where he got a lot of damage done. Killed the third base. Trigger then got a bit carried away with a lot of stalkers, way off creep, and the stalkers got surrounded by lings and roaches, and even though he still had 3 bases after losing the third, he was in trouble. And game 2 was a Queen Ling Nidus all in, and Trigger just saw it like a second or two too late. Couldn't prevent the first Nidus from going up. So Ling started streaming in, Queen started streaming out. It is what it is. Is it a 2-min delay for WTL casting? Now these guys are in the future, but what I am seeing is no delay for you guys. So you guys can ask me questions, I can answer immediately. I am watching a stream. That stream has delay. Bottom right side of Dragon Skills, guys, we had Firefly for the SSLT. They are on match point. In the top left side, representing Basilisk, we are looking at the main base of our 50% man, and we need you to be our 50% man just one more time. He's smiling a little. I think it's because he knows that he is a 50% guy. This is Basilisk Reynor. Thank you, by the way, KJ, saying Roddy 101 sounds like an intro level college class on how to be and excel at multiple things at once like you. Thank you, mate, for the 101 month resub. I hope that Professor Roddy can show you guys an ace match today. I don't think Reynor is angry. He's probably not happy because he's a passionate competitor. But angry, I don't think is the right word to use here. If you want to say Reynor is fired up to win, I can definitely get behind that statement. You haven't heard about Todd in a while? Todd literally streams every single day, mate. You can go over to twitch.tv/Todd and you'll find him there. He might be live as we speak. If he's not live now, he will go live later today. Todd is living in Vienna, Austria. And he's just doing his thing, playing some poker, playing a lot of Warcraft, being a streamer. I get these questions a lot, where you guys are wondering about what a certain person is doing. But a lot of them have a Twitch channel, guys, and you can always take a look at their Twitch channel. And most of the time, that is exactly what they are doing. Can we ask Todd about the Warcraft 2v2 story? Sure. You guys can ask Todd about it. Todd will just say, yeah, that's the problem with Rati. He's so fucking stubborn. He never listens. The degenerate. That is probably the response you're going to get from Todd. How's my girlfriend doing? I think she's doing great. When I saw her 2 hours ago, she was doing great. She's working right now. She does often have my stream open while she's working, so... I think it's to make sure that I don't say anything inappropriate. And to also collect some channel points. Reynor can lose to anyone in the WTL. Yes, mate. Anyone. It's a good thing for Reynor that he's teammates with me, because if I would play against Reynor, there's a good chance that I would take a map of him too. Literally anyone, guys. Anyone! Jeremy could stop playing F1 right now, join Berserker Esports and play against Reynor in the WTL, and there's a good chance Jeremy takes him out too. A little bit of ERS in the middle of map 1, bam! Jeremy takes the 1-0 lead over Reynor. Anyone, guys. You guys can right now go ahead and fire up Dota, find a random dude that's 25 minutes into playing with Lion and be like, hey man, you want to play against Reynor in the WTL? And they will take a map too. Anyone. My bro could install StarCraft and he could take a map of the Rhino. That's correct. Alright, enough memes. Let's go ahead and focus on this game because it is obviously very important. SSLT has a 3-2 lead. Reynor needs to win this one. I think Dragon Skills is a map that Reynor is very comfortable on. He's getting a very early Spore Crawler. He's making roaches early as well. I think that Spore Crawler is a just-in-case spore. Reynor catches a bunch of these adepts where the oracles are nearby. Good job there by Firefly, activating Pulse the Beam when he needs it the most. I thought Reynor's Link movement was good, but the save on the adepts was even better. Twilight Council in the Forge have been warped in. Reynor's been bleeding out a couple of links. Like, obviously it's okay to lose some links, but we want to make sure that we don't lose too many links, because it is important to have a couple of these fast units defensively as well. Roaches are great in the straight up fight, but they are obviously a whole lot slower than links, especially if you don't have a lair. And Reynor does not have a lair yet. Firefly just once more, guys, playing very clean in the first 5 minutes. All of this may seem easy, but I can guarantee you guys that it's not easy, especially not against a guy like Reynor, who is looking for freebies. He's looking for pickups. 2 oracles fly into the natural. Firefly is just damn good. He really is damn freaking good. Reynor might get an oracle kill here though. It's gonna be close. Very close, but he does not quite get the kill. Obviously this ain't bad for Reynor. That's a lot of damage on the oracles. He only lost 3 drones. Ideally he would have lost less, but it's acceptable. Overlord does get picked off between the natural and the 3rd base. Reynor has +1 missile attacks on the way as the lair is 80% done, so he can start firing up a roach speed. I do kind of wonder, guys, what Reynor is going to do afterwards. Because obviously after Firefly just displayed some phenomenal defense against Roachling Ravager Bane, do you double down? Do you do it again? Do you feel like it's easier to break your opponent because it's Dragon Scales and it's a smaller map and maybe it's like a tiny bit more wide open between the 2nd and the 3rd base? I don't know yet. But obviously whatever Reynor decides to do, it's very important that he delivers. Reynor is he's been back in the Netherlands for a while. I think he came back on like the 5th or 6th of May. Reynor wanted to make sure that he'd be able to play from his own comfortable setup when it came to the ESL Masters. That worked out. He went 3-0, already made it into the playoffs. But none of that really matters right now, as Firefly is going to put some pressure here on the 4th base of Reynor, but Reynor has enough queens and roaches in the correct position. As long as he doesn't walk into that stasis way of creep. Reynor, you gotta be careful. He is careful. Firefly splits off the oracles, trying to maybe get lucky and some drone damage at that 12 o'clock base, but that ain't happening. There's a Spore Crawler there, and there was a queen as well. Reynor is definitely creating a bigger worker lead than he was in that previous game. Firefly will play the same thing, guys. It's oracles into stalkers. He already has blink, right? Yeah, blink is done, and now he's gonna go charge, double robo bay. Reynor is also kind of doing the same thing. As these oracles are now looking for some drone damage at the 4th base, one of the bases that does not have a spore. He's gonna take the center. Reynor's gonna walk into that stasis. It's only a couple of lings and 2 roaches. War Prism, a very early Prism on the side of Firefly. Way earlier than I feel like in the previous game. Reynor needs to be careful here, because force fields are a thing. Reynor, we have to respect the force fields now. Okay, the Ravages are coming in from the back. Reynor's gonna open up the floodgates. There is no shield battery yet here. Reynor's got a lot of Zerg supplies. Getting on top of the sentries early on. This is all right before that battery kicks in. And one of those sentries, that felt like a slow warp, and that sentry is gonna get obliterated too. Well, Reynor definitely said, hey, I can do the same thing. Now we need to get on top of that battery, maybe. You have to, whoa, double kill on the Stalkers as well. Alright, Reynor, guys, is maxed out. 8 minutes and 20 seconds into the game. And Reynor is maxed out on 4 bases, fully sending it. And he struck when the iron was still hot. No batteries were ready, no cannons were ready. Walking up that ramp looked a little dicey, but our 50% man does it again. There is no one who prevents him from going 50%. Death, Texas, and Reynor going 50% in WTL. Those are inevitable things in life. And he's done it again. He knows. Reynor can literally beat anyone in the second game if he's down 0-1. That I do know. I feel like Reynor should get a 50% emoji in his chat. Maybe I should get a 50%. Somebody wants to make me a Twitch emote, guys. Who wants to design a beautiful 50% for me? Roddy, check Discord. Sorry, I will. Hi. We are definitely not sending me. Alright. We have decided, guys. We have decided. It was a close call between Trigger, Roddy, Serral, and Reynor. A majority vote was for me. The boys said, Roddy, we need you right now. It's time for the captain to step up. And I once more said, guys, I'm flattered, but we're not doing it. We are not doing it. But it is nice to know that all of them believe in me. As much as anyone has ever done in anything that I've done in my life. Our ace match, guys, will be Reynor versus Firefly. So a lot of you guys said 100% Serral, Serral 100%. Inevitable that it's Serral. It is not. It is Reynor versus Firefly as our ace match. Our outcome of the best of 2 was a draw. This will be our ace match. How do you 50% an ace match, guys? Huh? You guys have 5 minutes to get your prediction in. Babylon is the map, by the way. Sorry, I did not write that in the prediction. This is where a super black hole emerges and swallows up the earth and we all die at the same time. Because Reynor cannot go 50% in the ace match. Was nice knowing all of you guys. Please give me your prime. That's the last thing you'll do on this planet as we're all living together. Slash VIP Richie E566. There you go, mate. Thank you, Mr. Boy Yakuri. He says, alright, we'll do it, Brody. We will do it. Right before the supernova takes all of us. We had a good run together, guys. So a lot of you guys are wondering, why Reynor? Why Reynor? Why not Serral? Well, Basilisk is a team, guys. That is more than a one-man solo operative. Serral is great. Serral has been our ace on some moments. But Serral is not the only great player on this team. I am obviously the anomaly. I am not the great player, but the other 3 are fantastic. Sending Trigger here after going 0-2 would obviously be a bit shaky and still maybe not ideal for him. But between Reynor and Serral, it's a bit of a toss-up. The boys discussed, we all discussed together, and today we decided to send out Reynor. We believe in Reynor as much as we believe in Serral. Serral can get it done for us. Reynor can get it done for us. And I think Reynor really wants to break the curse. Jij vraagt, wij draaien. Hartstikke bedankt, jongen. And also, guys, we always do a little interview with the players afterwards. It's a win, lose, or draw interview, so we don't only interview when we win. And then you guys can also ask us some questions. If you guys have a specific question for Serral, you guys can ask me that question, and I can forward it to Serral. If you guys have any questions for Trigger or Reynor, we can do that too. I mean, looking at that last game, I'm pretty damn confident that we are gonna get the job done here, but we'll see. Reynor was literally maxed out 8 minutes and 20 seconds into the game as he was killing the final sentries. He was still at 200 supply, guys. it was a pretty convincing win. Sure, game 1 was very clean and beautiful by Firefly, but I think game 2 was pretty damn convincing. This whole series, the matches and the interviews, has all been great content. Thank you, mate. I do my best. I do my best every single time I go live, and I know I don't always succeed on giving you guys a perfect, happy stream and great gameplay, but I do always try. We've been trying for a long time, and we're still trying. We are just waiting for the boys to be ready. They were very quick in letting me know that it was going to be Firefly. The moment I typed out Reynor, they already said, alright, Reynor versus Firefly. What is the format? 1 game only? Yes. So the way the WTL works is it's always 3 best of 2s. If there is a winner after the 3 best of 2s, then it's over. GG. Score is settled. If the map score is 3 and 3, then we go to a best of 1 ace match. And that is happening right now. Then both teams send out an ace. We also went to the ace match last week against DKZ. In that match we sent out Yona. Today we send out Reynor. Roddy, can you VIP me too? I done my channel points. YOLO. Did you? Did I miss it? Yes, you did. I will. I will VIP you, mate. There you go. You now have a fancy badge. Dankeschön, bitteschön, auf Wiedersehen. Bam bam. Tonight there is Lakers against Golden State, right? I have to admit that I'm not a basketball boy, but I am kind of excited for this match tonight. Because today they play in LA, I think. So, if the Warriors win tonight, there's a good chance the Warriors will win in 7. I think today is going to be a pretty exciting game. If I'm still alive, if I still have energy. It kind of sucks that it starts so freaking late for me, but I'd kind of like to watch. Are you drinking Monster? What a gamer. I am a gamer, mate. Alright, so it is the rematch. We just saw the best of 2. Our 50% man is going to try to break the curse. He is done. There's a good chance, guys, that after today, if Reynor wins, the beast is unleashed, okay? You guys are going to see 2-0 after 2-0 after 2-0. All that Reynor needed was just that little bit of extra confidence that we put in him to break the 50% curse. And he will be flying through the rest of the season. As long as he wins today. Yeah. Yeah, if it starts at 4 a.m. for me... that's only... Yeah, it's 10 p.m. on the East Coast, right? 7 p.m. on the West Coast. Hello, Kamachi. Kamachi, when are you racing with us again? We miss you, mate. We talk about you every stream. There is a good chance that if Reynor clutches the ace match here, that he will indeed get a small bump in his player power ranking. And maybe next week he will be in 84. Who knows? I love that, Yona. Yona posting a Roddy Rico makes me way happier than it should. I love it. Alright, guys. Ace match time. Final round.
Final round. Fight!
Bottom right side, we are looking at the main base of SSLT Firefly. He went 1-1 with this man in the top left side. The Italian Stallion. the beast from the Netherlands these days, Basilisk Reynor. We need a victory speech if Reynor wins. I do an interview with the boys after every WTL playday. I record all of this as well, and I upload all the footage to a server that's being run by Basilisk. And I think eventually they will take some cool moments from all the games and from the interviews, and they will turn it into a little story. So make sure that you guys follow Basilisk on Twitter or YouTube, and you guys will see all of that eventually. No actual predictions on when stuff will be released, but I know they're doing something with all the recordings. Reynor over Serral. Today we went with Reynor, yes. Last week we went with Serral. Today we went with Reynor. The hoodie is on. That man is cooking. Let him cook, okay, guys? Stop bothering our boy. Stop teasing him about being our 50% man and let him cook. It would be incredibly funny, though, if we would have an internet power outage right now in the Netherlands. Ziggo is down for hours. Reynor can't play. It's like the 50% curse is just too damn strong. But so far, so good. Everything is still working. I'm a little bit worried because you don't tempt the universe in general. I'll go with Nina 2.0. If that happens, guys, I do promise you that I will not call Reynor an idiot. I do call him an idiot very often, but that's only off stream. I call him a whole lot worse even. You guys don't even want to know the things that he calls me, so it's okay. But on stream, I'll always be sweet to our boy. Chrono Boost has been used on the gateway for Firefly. Obviously, this is a small map, guys. And we do see the Stargate go down. Maybe Firefly is just very happy with his Stargate opening overall, but I wouldn't have been ultra shocked to see him play something completely different than what we saw in the previous two games. And open up with Adepts and maybe go for a quick Dark Shrine, right? He hasn't shown that yet, but so far it's still going to be, I don't want to say same old, but the standard for our Chinese brothers. Hello, a Spanish god, guys. One of the guys that's playing today in the Basilisk Big Rain Bouts. Don't forget about that. $500 on the line tonight for guys that are good at StarCraft, but are not the very best players out there. That is correct, Spanish god. In 2 hours, we kick things off. BBB. Number 26? Is it number 26? I don't know. Adept into Stalker into Adept is the opening. Obviously, the Stalker helps to push the Overlords away. What does suck about this as a Protoss, if you go for a Stalker that early, is that, you know, your second Adept shows up later. So you cannot try to get lucky with the first two Adepts. And maybe find some damage before Link Speed is done. A lot of people in the Discord were memeing about your name, a Spanish god. After I announced the players for the Big Brain Bouts tonight, they're like, what is the Spanish goat even? Why is he a Spanish goat? And they started spamming some pics too. Yes, we did, Air. We're trying to break the curse today. Cool little pylon positioning there. Obviously, every upside has a tiny downside as well. And if you build two pylons next to each other like that, way down the line, obviously if banelings roll in, they will blow up multiple pylons at once. But it did create a cool little cave for these Adepts to be very safe against Zerglings. Reynor is obviously going to be laser sharp here. He wants to make sure he does not make any errors. Like, all things aside, meme aside, Reynor is a big favorite, but obviously Firefly is good. And Reynor does put a lot of pressure on himself by saying, like, alright, I want to go out today. Let me do it. Because he knows that the internet is going to explode if we lose our first clan war here, and everyone's going to be like, why Reynor? Why not Serral? So there's definitely some pressure here on the shoulders of Reynor. Not just because it is an ace match, and also for all the noise. But if anyone knows how to silence the noise, I think it's our Italian boy. This ain't his first rodeo, as our man Lethal would say. He is a world champ. He has won plenty of offline events. He has won plenty of online events. He lives for this. This often brings out the very best in Reynor. And we kind of saw that in that previous game, because that was also a match point for SSLT. Well, Reynor looked as clean as he ever did. Overlord speed on the way, 7 roaches on the way, and a couple of lings and queens. So Reynor is just gonna go for some sort of a German taxi here. Or we call it the Italian Vespa if he does it. Because Reynor is making a lot of units, guys, and he's not making these units because he is worried about Firefly attacking him. It seems that Reynor just has a read at this point on what he thinks is the best way to play against Firefly. And maybe he just feels that Firefly is too passive, too greedy, too macro-oriented, and he can just go ahead and end it. It's obviously a big decision, because if this attack does not work out... Oh, Lynx tried to run into the natural. Observer didn't show us. It's a big moment, guys. Wow, the creep, by the way, is spectacular. 6 minutes and 20 seconds in. Roaches morphing into Ravagers. Reynor is sending it. He says, Firefly, you're a greedy boy, my friend. And I think that I have a build that can punish you. Here we go. A couple of drones dying. Why are drones dying? To what drones are dying? Doesn't really matter. I don't like how early the Link showed up here, though. And I like the very early overcharge. I'm a tiny bit concerned here for Reynor at first. But we'll see how all of this plays out as now more and more Zerg units will show up. Battery overcharge is doing its thing, but the Stalkers don't have Blink yet. So it's obviously there's not too much micro potential in the Stalkers. Reynor still has extra units showing up. Corrosive Ball not quite connecting. I want to say Firefly, I think he's doing quite alright. But now overcharge has run out, and what Firefly does not have, guys, is cannons. Didn't have additional batteries going up either. It is definitely a little bit closer than that previous game, but I do believe that Reynor is getting the job done as for here. That entire overcharge ran for the entirety of the fight, but still a lot of Stalkers died. 70 army supply against 18. Sure, Blink is done. +1 is done. It is important that Reynor doesn't bleed out too many units right now before the reinforcements show up. Some Overlord micro, guys. Queens hopping in and out of the Overlord. Extra Stalkers have been warped in. It's looking good, but Reynor is not 100% there yet. He's almost there, though. Right now, Firefly's on wobbly legs, but there is Coco's second overcharge. And the first one we ignored, but we can't ignore Coco's second overcharge. Reynor will take it out immediately. But Firefly, his Stalker numbers are growing. He now goes for a forward blink. I think that's a little bit too early. Reynor still microing Ravages with the Dropalord as well. But more and more Stalkers have been wiped in. A lot of the Stalkers so low in HP. All we need is like 10 or so links. This is awfully close. Supplies are closer than they've been in a very long time. Firefly blinks forward. Gets the Queen. Gets a couple of roaches. And Firefly holds while being down 52 army supply at one point. I think he's getting a little bit carried away right now with that forward blink. And he's going to bleed out a couple of Stalkers. Firefly. Was that a blink too far? Well, for now he will get away with it. Oh, this is looking scary. This is looking scary, guys. Man, I thought Reynor had it. I thought Reynor had it, but he is in a bit of trouble now. Firefly with another ambitious blink. I mean, if there was one thing that's going to give me hopes, it's definitely these blinks. As he loses a couple of Stalkers, not too many. Reynor chasing, we'll get a few more. Oh my goodness, ace match, guys. What a nail-biter. Reynor is in trouble, but I never count Reynor out, especially not if there is this much creep. And Firefly doesn't quite have an army right now to just end the game. He doesn't have a pylon on the other side of the map. He doesn't have a war prism. So I do think that the game will go on. Reynor definitely behind. Wow, we are getting a show here today. Whew. We are getting a show here today. The Observer is going to help Firefly clean up a bunch of creep. Reynor's going to have to pull off a tiny miracle. Or at least a comeback. Calling this a miracle is maybe a bit much. He still has an army supply lead. He just doesn't have the attack right. Reynor doesn't have an infestation pit. Reynor doesn't have a hive. Whew. Well, that would definitely be a surprise. But Reynor, guys, does his best work from behind. Think of the magical IEM Katowice run. How many times wasn't Reynor down and out? How many times wasn't he in trouble? Gonna have a little link drop in the main base as Roaches and the Ravagers are gonna pressure the fourth base. Stalkers microing in the center of the map. A lot of batteries there. So for just links alone, that's not going to be nice. But the links in the main base, I do like that. As a couple of probes are now falling. Reynor is gonna go for that pylon and the Nexus at the same time. Finding decent damage here, but he's losing a decent... Oh my goodness, these links, guys! These links! Alright. Game looks a whole lot better for Reynor now than I did a minute ago. Roaches, Ravagers still finding some damage. 15 probes falling. Nexus will finish up, and Nexus is just gonna die. Sure, it soaks up a little bit of damage there, but That Nexus will fall. Guardian Shield gets activated. Observer dies to Corrosive Ball there, guys. That's a big little win there for Reynor. Oh, the balls. Goodness gracious. Goodness gracious. Not a single ball goes off. I don't know how it happened. The first disruptor died, and I think Firefly cancelled the shot on the second one to save it with the War Prism, but he couldn't. Reynor really has leveled up over the last minute in this game. Still getting good trades here as well with the Roaches and Ravages. And even the Link drop, guys, got saved. Forward Blink again by Firefly. I mean, nothing will ever be as crazy as that Blink of Hero a couple days ago in the finals of Kung Fu Cup. I actually took a look at Wardy's stream, his VOD, to see if Wardy had the same reaction as me. And pretty much, where he was like, whoa, what? What was that Blink? Reynor now, guys, with a Hive 80% done. And it's looking mighty fine for our boy. Reynor's definitely not there yet. I'm sure he was stressed, but it's really impressive. Reynor knows about the Disruptors. You can already see him moving his units closer. I mean, 1 or 2 Novas is still all it takes, but Vipers are on the production tab. And once the Vipers are out, guys, that boy is cooking. Now, last time he invited me to come over to his apartment, I thought he would be cooking, but he wasn't cooking. The man who speaks so much about cooking invited Victoria and me over, and you know what he gave us? Frozen pizzas! Unbelievable. But there were a couple nice snacks. He did get some French fries and ham and cheese. But I was expecting some cooking. All this talking about cooking as one of the balls does fly forward. And it connects with some units. Disruptor unloaded on the high ground, and it goes off, but Reynor does get the kill. The Vipers should be leeching energy here somewhere. Where are those Vipers? I kind of like a Viper right now. Oh, could maybe kill the War Prism, guys. Abduct, Parabomb, Queens, yes. Firefly does not know about the Vipers that are out. Man, what a game, what an ace match. What a best of 7, by the way, guys. Can we give it up for both teams? The Basilisk boys, but also the SSLT lads. Because it does take 2 to tango. Toodming had an awesome performance against Trigger. Serral did several things versus Silky. But this has been a very exciting little best of 3 between these two. There's the Nova! Oh, that was a late abduct Reynor. Can you please not funk with my heart like that? Sweet baby Jesus. I saw that thing explode already, guys. That was a late abduct. The double disruptor drop is happening, and Reynor did lose 8 drones there, but he's abducting disruptors right now into the front lines. One Nova does make it through the army. There's another big overcharge, by the way, man. There is some serious healing happening in this game from the overcharges. But Reynor has a lot of units, and there is no good ends for the Vipers. Flanking disruptors, though, that could be a problem. Oh, one of the... What? Not a single one goes off. Reynor with the perfect split target fire gets the kill on both of them. Reynor dodged some serious bullets in this game, guys. He actually really dodged some serious bullets. A couple of these Novas were close, but it's starting to look more and more likely that we will be able to keep our undefeated record in the WTL Code S, as these Stalkers are stuck at this point. Obviously, one ball is still scary, but I think it is pretty much over. Here comes the ball. The ball does land for the first time, but the corrosive balls also land. Firefly knows it. Tiny slam on the desk, and GG gets called. Reynor will make sure that we keep our undefeated record. He showed up as an ace. He had to sweat a little. That first attack didn't quite get the job done. But Reynor does his best work when his back is up against the ropes. GG. Basilisk wins 4-3 over SSLT. Fun ace match. Fun best of 7, man. Very, very solid. Woo! We stay undefeated, guys. We stay undefeated. And the curse is broken. Expect that man to be unleashed for the rest of the season. He's no longer a 50% boy.